Uh, Welcome back to Blues Canoe. We're here with Cam and Ben. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Cam.
Hi, I'm Ben.
This is a really cringy intro. Perfect.
You're,
So
you're
we're gonna start.
cringy.
We're gonna start off with
Everybody say what their name is and one cool thing about them.
And
yeah,
their
please.
nationality.
Yeah, what's your nationality, Ben? You don't want to share? All right, that's okay. So we're gonna be talking a lot about Pokemon today, and so there's this new app that's gonna be coming out. It's gonna be called Pokemon Let's Go, and if you actually look at any of the screenshots of it, it looks very similar to any Pokemon game that's come out in the recent times, like Pokemon X and Y and Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's a good idea for Pokemon to be moving over to mobile, or do you think they should stick to their own consoles?
Well, in my way of thinking about it, Pokemon has already really been mobile in my opinion because it's like Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, that kind of shit. It's like it's always been it's already been on its own mobile device kind of. So it's like it's this is the only natural progression of Pokemon to continue being a mobile series.
Yeah, you think because Reggie actually said some interesting things about this back in the past, and don't quote me on this, but he said something about how they are more powerful on their own consoles because they know them a lot better. But I think this is a very almost hypocritical thing to say because they just said that they're gonna stick to their own consoles, but now they're turning around and going towards the app market after the explosion of Pokemon Go. And I just think the funny title is Pokemon Let's Go, even though it's not even similar to Pokemon Go in any way. And
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
from what I've seen with the actual Pokemon Let's Go stuff, is the capturing system of how to actually collect the Pokemon is extremely similar to Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
But
the format.
one of the interesting things I saw is it's also being released on the Switch at the same time.
Oh,
So it's
really?
like
I didn't
yeah,
even hear
like
about that.
if you look at it, it's like it's on both systems and it's the exact same method of playing the game, but it's like so obviously catered towards like the mobile device that's kind of like, hey, you bought a Switch, we're gonna just keep releasing stuff on things other than the Switch instead of making games consistently on it. Have fun. I hope you're enjoying Odyssey and Breath of the Wild because it's the only good things on
Yeah,
there so far.
Yeah, I
like
hope.
they
Sorry, go
sort
ahead.
of like made Pokemon Go, and then like the Pokemon Let's Go is sort of like fleshing out what they set up in that game. So
Yeah.
it feels like almost like DLC instead of like a new game.
Yeah.
Oh, oh yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So for Pokemon Go, the explosion of it, I personally still log into Pokemon Go time at a time. But when the game released, I didn't actually have data on my phone, so I couldn't play Pokemon Go properly. But do you think this will be an explosion like Pokemon Go and then it'll eventually fade out? Or do you think this is going to be a success?
I feel like it's gonna sort of initially be mediocre because it's like everyone has already played Pokemon Go, so everyone who has like downloaded it and that's sort of, oh my god, it's mobile Pokemon type thing. The whole hype for it being the first one is kind of already decreased. So what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
kind of thinking is it's going to be like people who really want to play that game will download it and play it, and then it'll kind of be based on like reviews of the game, like that kind of thing. Will either decide whether it's going to be successful, mediocre, or just no one plays it at all.
So just you just think it's gonna have a normal run for the game?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be normal unless they like pump so much money into the advertisements because from what I've seen so far, all it's making me think is, huh, I should get a Switch and then play Mario Odyssey and maybe this game.
Yeah. Oh my lord. That's the only reason I think I would buy a Switch is just because how much I loved Pokemon or Mario Galaxy and Mario 64. If you remember playing that
Oh
on the
yeah,
DS with
Yeah,
me.
and Breath
yeah,
of the Wild
Do
was
you
I do
good
remember
remember
as
that?
that.
well.
Oh my
Breath of
Pardon?
god.
the Wild was like next level. It was so fun.
Have you played Breath of the Wild, Ben?
Yeah, I have it on the Wii U because I
Yeah,
didn't feel like getting a Switch for 400 bucks.
I hope they yeah. I hope they don't forget about the Switch like they did the Wii U because the
Oh
Wii
yeah, yeah.
U
The release stuff they had was like abysmal. Like they had nothing to release.
It,
Oh my god,
and
yeah.
since go ahead.
I think it's like every single time. Okay, so here's my opinion, and this is probably an opinion I've heard on the internet, and I'm just gonna regurgitate it, and it's probably someone else's very well written joke. Basically, Nintendo is so shit with everything about them except for their games. Like they'll make fucking masterpieces like Super Mario 64, like Breath of the Wild,
In
Odyssey,
Galaxy.
Galaxy 2, like Galaxy, that kind of shit. And then they'll market it like a cardboard box with the name of the game on it, and it's just like Miyamoto standing there like doing jazz hands, and they're like, buy our game. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're also making a new console with no gamer development. It's like, we
Yeah.
have all these things for it, but we haven't gotten to it, so.
Honestly, I thought the Wii U was a great, like, it was so unique to what the consoles were, and that was, I think, the biggest downfall. Like, for example, when they made the GameCube, it was very geared, and it was a very, like, normal console, and you can see that because that was literally the most successful, after the Wii, of course, the most successful game console, and you see them pioneering new markets, such as the Nintendo Switch, for example. And I hope developers don't get scared about that because they have to port it from a TV perspective to a actual mobile perspective, because that's a very, very unique thing to Nintendo. And I think they do very unique game things, like, for example, the Virtual Boy, which was way ahead of its time, too far ahead. But
Yeah, like
it's like if you made a time machine and then you tried to give them like a time machine, but you had to like downgrade it to their current technology. It
yeah,
was just like a clock.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They tried to do stuff that's not ready to be developed, and other game companies, they don't want to port their games over because it's going to be more complicated than porting it over from, let's say, the PS4 to the Xbox One, which is, I'm sorry to say, but almost literally identical. Like, there's not that much of a difference between the Xbox and the PS4, but when you go to the Switch, it's a completely different platform because you have two different screens. And also, they do a lot of experimenting with AR, or alternate reality. So, for example, I don't know if you guys have 3DSs, but it came with a game called like Face Shooters. So you could upload your face and put it on a thing, and when you stand up, it gives the background normally of like whatever you're looking at. So it uses the camera, and then enemies will start to attack through, and then you can shoot the environment, and then it becomes space. And they did and the trading cards, which were the coolest things ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you put the trading cards down on the table, if no one knows who's listening to this, but they would put the trading cards down on the table, and you could scan them, and then it would pop up with different games and different characters and stuff like that, and you could walk around and play the different games that was actually on those cards, which is, honestly, I thought it was the coolest shit ever. Like, excuse my language, but I thought that was the coolest, like, stuff ever that happened. But compared to VR, for example, I think VR and AR are two very different markets, and I think Nintendo should really spend all their resources in AR, and I think they are. So I think that's good. But
Yeah.
well, we all agree. But anyway, this anyway. Okay, so the next part,
more or less like you said so much that we all got lost on it, and we just went, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I concur with your statement.
let's divvy back to let's just divvy back to Pokemon, which is supposed to be the topic.
Let's just get right back.
Okay, so along with Pokemon Let's Go, they announced Pokemon Quest, which I'm not 100% sure about, but I've seen screenshots and I've seen what it's about, and it's supposed to be sort of like a sandbox sort of game. And so, if you've seen screenshots, it looks really similar to this mod that was developed for Minecraft called
Can I throw one thing in really quick?
Yes.
When I heard about this, it made me actually fucking angry.
Because
they fucking... Okay, For those who don't know, there was a very, very popular mod on the internet for a long, long time, like several, like maybe couple of years, called Pixelmon for Minecraft, which essentially added Pokemon and that sort of thing to the game, and you could catch it and start off with whichever generation starters you wanted. And it was a really well-made mod. Like the sprite work and the models were amazing, but the thing is, Nintendo conveniently put a cease and desist on them, and then mere months later released an announcement for Pokemon Quest.
which
Ooh.
was a sandbox like Minecraft style game. So I know me and Cam have personally spent a long time in Pixelmon and maps that people have developed for that. But honestly, the coolest part of the mod was being able to interact with the world while on your Pokemon. So, for example, the move Fly, you could literally fly on your Pokemon, which was like a dream come true. And it was just so much more like, I don't know how to explain it, but I think it was more like, it felt more like immersive. Using the Pokemon moves and stuff like that, because it was still the turn-based strategy game that you know. But for example, you could use the move Climb to climb up like sheer cliffs, and you could also use like Surf to surf across the water. You could fish for Pokemon. Like it was very immersive, and I guess which was also we can also get into this. I didn't even put this down, but Pokemon Uranium.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is a really fun conversation topic about Nintendo doing this sort of thing, because believe it or not, this is not the first time they've done this exact thing. Let me regale you with a tale. Essentially, I'm not sure how long ago it was, but essentially a group of very dedicated fans were working on a Metroid 2 remake as sort of like a fan tribute, and it was like revamping all the graphics and just like generally how the game looked and such and how it played. Nintendo did a cease and desist on them and then announced that they were doing a Metroid remake.
So,
and then we all know about the Pokemon Uranium, and then after that happened, I'm pretty sure they announced either X and Y was coming out, or it was that they were remaking Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I think it was around there.
No. It was after that. That's when the game went into beta. But it was actually when Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were about to get announced. That's when took down Pokemon Uranium. But Ben, I'm gonna ask you, because you haven't been talking a lot. I'm just gonna ask you directly.
I think it's more or less you and me have just been like steering this entire conversation. Ben's been waiting for his opportunity.
I'm cool with this.
But I have a direct question for you, Ben. Okay, so.
Okay.
Knowing that Nintendo doesn't like fan games for whatever reason, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they taken down fan art, because legally the people who are making these games and mods are technically not allowed under a legal standing, but companies usually use it because they're not making any money off of it, first of all. And Pixelmon wasn't making any money. Uranium was completely free, that you could download it off of the official website until they took it down. And I just want to ask, do you think this is morally right? Do you think, Ben? Or why do you think Nintendo's taking it down?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure why they're taking it down. I guess because, I mean, if people are playing like a better Pokemon game that's not for them. I mean, argue
Nintendo, where we make mediocre Pokemon games for $40.
I mean, if I was Nintendo, I wouldn't see reason to take it down, because like they're not making profit from it, because like they're free for the most part.
Yeah.
So like, if they're not making like money off it, like what's the point of taking it down?
Yeah, it's like free advertising, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, if anything.
Well, I think the fun thing to talk about whenever you bring up Nintendo and like anything it does with copyright, you have to immediately remember the huge controversy years ago about how it felt about YouTube videos, right?
Yeah.
How anytime they found Mario in a thumbnail or title, they instantly copyright strike the video and took monetization from it.
Isn't that weird though? Because at least in where we live, the marketing for Nintendo is not very big. So I
Yeah.
would suggest that I get most of my information for new Nintendo games off of the E3 live stream, or I get it through YouTubers. So I mean,
Yeah, like
because that's the only time of year that we get to hear anything from Nintendo, because they literally hide behind curtains and don't tell anyone anything. And then when they come out with these new ideas that were popular 6 years ago, everyone's surprised. Like, it's just like,
Like, yeah.
wow, it's so innovative. They did the 2-screen thing again.
yeah, it's just like what? Okay. Anyway,
okay, that's one thing I gotta talk about. So, the Wii U, what they essentially did is they just said, "What about if we made the top screen of the DS a TV?"
No, it's literally just like saying, what if we made an iPad, but with our name on it?
And then everyone went,
But
Woo!
if
"And we
you
put a Mario game on it."
And then no one bought it.
I thought the Wii U was
I
actually
think I have one. It's just I haven't played it in 4 years.
I thought the Wii U
I
was
have
like
one. It's just like they had no
Oh my
titles
God.
for it.
actually
honestly,
the
the
Wii U if you
advertising-
played
The
if you-
advertising campaign for the Wii U was so bad. Like
it
the
was
only game I remember being exclusive to it was that Zombie U game. Just
Oh
because of its
God.
stupid name. That's the only reason I remember it.
But if you've played actually Batman, any of the Arkham games on the Wii U, it's actually very interesting
Wait,
because
they-
you know so
Did they release the Batman games?
Yes.
on that?
yes. And if you played it, I've played it at a friend's house, okay? No. You're laughing. You're laughing. But they did it was so bloody good. Like, it was 10 times more immersive than playing it on PC or console, because they actually utilized the second screen that you're holding in your hands. So what they did, you know when you're scanning a crime scene in the Arkham games?
Oh, and then they put the
Yeah, so they
Oh
put
my
it
God,
so
that's
your
so cool.
your scanner gadget, instead of like holding it and then your whole screen goes blue, you actually stand in the crime scene and you can look around on your mini like iPad,
Oh my
as Ben
God.
put it, which is a great idea, and I'm surprised
That's really
that.
cool.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Nintendo doesn't give any direction for third-party developers to actually utilize any of the
Here's
technology.
The dev kit.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
to any of the
I feel like
technology that
that's
they
why
put
there's
on.
No third-party games for the most Nintendo consoles.
But I'm
One of the things-
surprised that
okay,
Bethesda actually teamed up with Nintendo Switch, and I don't know if that was a smart move. Time will tell, because I'm not actually sure. But what's your opinion on that, Nintendo, teaming up with Bethesda, because Bethesda's gonna release all their games, planning to.
I did not hear about
Nintendo
that,
Switch.
honestly.
Yeah.
The marketing for anything Nintendo related is so bad. This almost all of this is new information to me.
But
Yeah.
don't you remember the advertising campaign, the relentless advertising campaign for the Wii?
I do remember that. It was
Yeah,
honestly
it
like
was
every single
everywhere.
channel at the same time. It was like that Wii U Sports one where it was like the two happy families and they were like,
And
ha,
it was
ha, and they were playing tennis.
the most successful console, and then they just didn't
And then they
advertise the
just
Wii
never
U.
advertised anything.
Well, guys,
again.
look how good the Wii U did.
Yeah, it's
Slowly
just-
pushes Wii U towards audience. You remember this? Here you go. This is new.
You remember this thing that half of you didn't buy?
Hey, remember this? We put two controllers on the side. Have fun.
What do you mean you didn't hear about it?
Also, here's a masterpiece. We're just gonna put this on here, but you have to find it.
yeah, it's like, yeah,
I
some
mean,
of the,
at least for the Switch, the release games weren't like abysmal.
Oh yeah, definitely. They
Like,
they
'cause-
definitely.
Because they had Breath of the Wild on release, and that was like a gem.
Yeah. The problem is with Nintendo is the way I like to imagine is a diamond-headed hammer with a piece of driftwood as like the handle. Like they hit headstrong, so much power, and then like the handle just sort of breaks off and is never like used again.
yeah.
Like when they announced the Switch, it was like all these. Oh, we got Bethesda, we've got From Software, we've got Bandai Namco, we've got all these third-party people developing games. the only game that I've heard that came out from those people is Dark Souls Remastered, and that's the only one. So out of all of those, within like, when was the Switch released? Like
Oh, a few
last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
At
So
least.
over the course of the last year or so, they released one game from those third-party developers, as far as I know.
But then again, like, Nintendo's so quiet, except for Reggie, which is the North American like PR man.
We all know about that battle bus.
He's Nintendo.
He's very relatable with the kids.
He's Nintendo. He's Nintendo America.
Americas.
He's
And
a real favorite.
I don't
kid.
know. I don't know what the situation in Japan is, because I heard Nintendo is a huge thing in Japan, but that might just be rumors. If you're Japanese and listening to this for some reason, please tell me. But it apparently, like, everyone walks around with a DS in Japan, according to my friends who've gone there before. Like, you know how you can walk around with the DS in your back pocket on like sleep, and then it tells you people that you've crossed by? Apparently, he's gotten many
Oh, yeah,
people.
the Street Pass thing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, on the 3DS.
But I'll let you know, he found a lot more people at Anime North, which is an anime convention. He found
Ooh.
it was over 200 people he passed
Oh,
with
God.
DSs in the back pocket on. So do with
Just
that
makes you wonder
information.
how many responsible people were walking around with their DSs off.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I never turned my DS on sleep for my 3DS, but
There was
that
a
was
sleep
me.
function?
Yeah,
No,
there's a
it's
sleep function.
The sleep function was you closing the screen without turning it off, though.
Oh, okay.
So it left it on, but I would always turn it off because I didn't want to waste
No,
the battery.
I did it because the 3DS it tracked your steps and it gave you like those play coins.
Oh yeah, that's also.
No. Hear me
I
out,
would
hear me
just
out.
shake
When
my
I-
DS.
When I first got Animal Crossing, when I first got the 3DS, the first game I got was New Leaf.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah,
shit-
yeah.
Yeah, that shit was fun, but like you needed play coins to like to buy like certain items in the game.
Sheesh. I mean, that's one way to get kids to exercise, but like, come on.
I mean, but then you could just like shake the damn thing.
Yeah, you just shake it.
Yeah, because
you just treat it
this-
like a shake coin.
the stepper was like
Just tape it to one side.
the stepper was like a little pin on the inside, and you could hear it go up and down. So what I would do is I would find the exact like center of mass sort of that, and then I would just tip it back and forth like very quickly in a little tiny like, and I got a lot of coins for that. So you know the Me Play or whatever,
Yeah.
like whatever that's called. I did fantastic in that because I would just have like 500 coins constantly. But anyway, okay, that's enough. That's enough for I don't even know what we were talking about. Anyway,
I
We were talking about Pokemon originally.
I mean, okay, since we're like since we're like on the vein of the 3DS right now, can I just say, like throughout like the entirety of me using the Street Pass function, I think I ran into like 3 people.
oh, I ran
And it was
over.
people at school.
I did.
No,
I,
no, it
I
was-
think
it was
I
pe-
hit
it was, like, people, like,
145.
Like it was people like outside,
Jeez.
but like there was so little people using it.
Actually,
It's like-
I would. Whenever I was going up to my cottage, I would turn on the feature and I would just sit on the highway. And I crossed throughout, like, I think it was 4 rides. It was like 100 people. So all those kids in the
Jeez.
back seat that were playing Pokemon, thank you for passing me because you helped me through Pokemon or me
There's gonna be
play
like one
place or
kid who's
whatever.
like, I was on the 404 that day.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway. Yeah, my character was named No Eyes, so I made him have no eyes. I put his eyes
Clever.
so high up that it went into his hair, so you couldn't see his eyes. And then I put sunglasses on him, so he looked.
No,
So what you're
what
saying? So what you're saying is you made a creepypasta character for some kid with a 3DS.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're gonna make.
No.
You know those creepypasta channels that like read out creepypastas? They're just gonna
Yeah, it's
come
like
out.
the story of No Eyes the 3DS, and it's like one day I was sitting on the highway and I went to the me thing, and it said No Eyes has passed you, and it was like this creepy little guy who had a pair of sunglasses on, and then I was like, oh, but then one night I had a dream where it was like I saw him again, and I took off his sunglasses, and there was no eyes, and then I was like, the next day I opened my DS, and it said, no eyes has passed you again, even though I was at my house, and it was like...
And I had my DS off.
My
Ah!
DS was up, and then I opened my closet, and there was no eyes, and he was hyper realistic.
Okay. I can just anyway. Anyway.
I think I'm gonna write this in my off time. I've got like 5 days like off this summer. I'm just gonna write that.
Okay.
Post it on like the internet.
R/no sleep.
Oh yeah, no sleep. Like, the story of no eyes.
No, you gotta make it a green text on 4chan.
Oh fuck.
On /B, so like no one knows the context.
Be me, 6 years old, on 404. Go on Nintendo Street Pass. No eyes.jpg. What?
Okay.
Nani.
So they rebooted Pokemon.
Now we're ultra off topic. What?
Yeah.
we
made our own topic.
They rebooted Pokemon Sun and Moon. Okay, so they rebooted Pokemon Sun and Moon, and
They did, didn't they?
Yeah,
like right after they released it too.
again,
Like,
the
it was
advertisements did shit all. I've seen gameplay of it. It's almost literally identical. There's only a few differences. For example, like I'm pretty sure the legendaries are a bit different or something. There's like
Mega evolutions.
honestly, it's not that
Something.
big of a difference. What I was really impressed, what remaster I was really impressed with, because I literally just thought they were just gonna update the graphics in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that. Yeah,
I like how they added that
yeah.
whole thing where you could go to the moon with Rayquaza, and I thought that was rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a Rayquaza story and stuff like that, and also they reformatted the story a bit. If you've played the original, they reformatted the story to make a lot more sense. And on the topic of Pokemon stories, do you guys remember the detective missions in Pokemon X and Y?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you anything about X and Y if you asked me.
Yeah,
I remember there was
anything
the main villain
plot-wise.
looked like a lion, and his name was like Lysander, and he
Yeah.
wanted to be evil.
Yeah.
And then there was the really tall dude, and he like fucked the fairy Pokemon or something and shot a cannon,
Yeah,
And
killed
yeah,
everybody.
That's all I
I
remember.
didn't like the original, like the baseline story. Like I thought it was fine, but the
Okay, hang on.
detective
Now
story,
I'm remembering the detective thing now.
It was
now that I'm
in-
like running through all the database in my brain.
it was in the
No,
main city
I feel
where
like the story.
Yeah.
The story in that game felt super forced though.
Yeah.
especially at the end where the guy gets reunited with whatever the fuck his Pokemon
Oh yes, this
called.
character I
I,
know
uh,
about.
Yeah, like he got introduced
it's
like
like
2
His name was like
seconds earlier.
AJ or something.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like,
The
okay.
3,000-year-old giant wandering
who
homeless guy.
somehow is still alive.
Before the
wandering
Pokemon
around.
War.
The Pokemon War. We shot a cannon because my fairy died.
Okay, but they had a detective quest line, and Pokemon X and Y was chocked full of that stuff with a bunch of side quests that you could do after you completed the
The
game.
most strange stuff possible. Like when I first did the Hex Maniac thing, like where I walked into the room and there was the ghost girl, that was the weirdest shit.
I was playing it at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't know if I thought I was a victim of like a creepypasta or something.
Like,
Because I
and then
freaked
No
the
Eyes visited me.
No, it was so weird because like she walked around the corner and then she just walked out of the elevator and I was like, what the fuck was that?
But look,
And I
that's the thing. The weirdest part, the smallest detail that made me so uneasy. They didn't even give her a walk animation. They just
And
made
she
her
just
like glide
floated in.
across the floor.
yeah, and
No,
then,
it was like she did the thing like you know when it's like a game really screws up and it's like the character like starts the walk
Yeah.
animation like super slow, like they put 1 foot forward and just sort of glide.
yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
Spooked me. That freaked me
Yeah.
out so much.
It was
Yeah.
Like you walk into the room and you think it's gonna be normal, like a normal sort of room, and then she just shows up out of nowhere. It's like, oh, okay, this is happening now.
Also, welcome Kyle to the Blue Canoe
Oh, Kyle's
because he
here.
just undeafened himself. We're
Okay.
doing the podcast
Oh,
thing.
we're doing a podcast. I'm gonna
And that was Kyle for.
And the special
He just-
guest.
oh, he's
Kyle.
back. Welcome
Okay.
back, Kyle.
So we have Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So do you think this is a cash grab?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why do you think it's a cash
yeah,
grab?
Like, there's no
Well,
question about
because
it.
the thing
Because-
about like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I haven't played through enough of it. I think I have a copy of it, but the problem is I was just so bored I didn't finish it.
Yeah, Pokemon Sun and Moon were so boring with the amount of cutscenes.
It was like the islands, and it was like super.
Exactly.
Eh.
It was just like, what the.
You see, the problem is we
There
are
was more
not the target
cutscenes
audience
than-
anymore.
That.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
But
kind of
no,
sucks that we're not.
but what like 6-year-old's gonna jump on the game and want to wait through 30 minutes of like dialogue?
The choosing cutscene where it's like, which Pokemon do you want? It's like the Rowler, and it's like, will he choose you? And then it's like a 5-second delay, and then it goes chirp, and then it's like, oh, it chose you, and it's your best friend forever. And it's
And
like,
there's no voice actors as well, so you have to read
Yeah.
all of that. Like, what 6-year-old is gonna want to do
Yeah,
that?
'cause like attention spans now are like even shorter than they were when like
Exactly.
no joke, like they're super short.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
what kid is gonna like be like enticed by that?
But
almost.
couldn't you say that, like, let's say Pokemon, like, let's say any generation, for example, let's just take the first generation, Pokemon Green and Leaf Green and Pokemon Fire Red. I know that's not the first version. The first gen was
if you're a
Red,
trilogy, you'd have
Pokemon
played
Red and Blue.
Red, Green, and Blue.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna use Fire Red and Leaf Green as example. Couldn't you say that Leaf Green and Fire Red, even two of them, is a cash grab because literally the games are
No,
identical, but they
no,
just
but
have different
think about it-
Pokemon?
Think about it this way, like the spacing, like the time in between.
No, I think Ben, he means more or less the two versions being released at the same time.
Oh, I mean,
So the
but
fact that there's,
they've always
for
done.
example, a diamond and a pearl, like,
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
a
you
cash
said-
grab in itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's a cash
I-
grab?
I mean, I feel like they did that as both a cash grab and because, like, they only put certain Pokemon in versions, so I guess it like encourages trading almost.
Yeah.
that's
because
what I was thinking.
I didn't
Yeah.
know any kid who bought Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I'm sure there was a person out there who did. Or
I think me and my brother, I bought Pokemon Diamond, he got Pearl, and he just never played it, so I just took his DS in that game and just traded all
did-
the exclusives over.
I did the exact same thing with my brother, but then he stole my Pokemon Black 2, which I was very pissed about. Pokemon Black and White have a very, very heavy storyline, but it's much more subtle than Pokemon Sun and Moon because there's not as many cutscenes. You actually have
Yeah,
to
I
physically
skipped
talk
Yeah.
to people.
I skipped
One
that
thing
generation.
I appreciated, okay, so basically, the thing I enjoy about Pokemon, but I also kind of dislike, is the fact that in certain generations, like Ruby and Sapphire and Diamond and Pearl, they eventually made a third game, which was kind of like the remake of both of them, like Emerald and Platinum, in which
Yeah.
both of them had better stories, more fun, and like better graphics and different gameplay mechanics in certain ways, like just enough where it was more fun. And the problem is, I'm either thinking it's not possible for the games to be that good if there weren't the games before them in the first place.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't know, everyone hated that you could only catch Driftbloom at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday.
That was, yeah.
'Cause I remember that. I still remember that.
But
I hated that. And then they just made him a regular Pokemon in Platinum, and I was a happy boy. I loved that. And they made him a standard Pokemon.
I think they did that very, very intentionally, though. That you could only catch
Yeah,
certain
like-
Pokemons on certain dates because it encourages conversation. Take
That
the
is true,
original
yeah.
Zelda, for example. I know this is gonna be hard for me to imagine because we're all millennials and Generation Z, but before when the
Casual way to just throw shade at the media.
Anyway, the original. I'm not. No, okay. So the original Legend of Zelda, okay.
Told you literally nothing.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, it told you literally nothing, and there was literally I've played through the game, which is a lot easier now thanks to the internet because I can literally search up how do I get this item. But anyway, so you would go up and like slash a tree, like a random tree in this random forest, and you could go underground and get like an OP item or something, right?
Yeah.
But that encouraged conversation in between people. And I can even
Yeah.
say from you and me, Cam, about the amount of bullshit I spread to you through video
Oh my
games.
God.
And you've
Every
probably
single time
done...
you told me that Waluigi was in Mario 64 DS, I hated it.
I
And was
swear
like,
to God it was! I swear
yeah, I
to
know.
God it
I
was!
saw the picture too, and it was like, there in the profile selection screen, there's like a tiny black door on the side of the Mushroom Kingdom. If you shoot yourself at it with the cannon at just the right angle, you'll fall into the wall, and Waluigi will laugh, and he'll appear in the white door side, where like the white door is in the character selection.
wait,
And I was like, that's real. That's gotta be real. Why would they put the black square there? So I'm not even gonna lie, I spent far too much time trying to do that. And like every time I didn't, I would talk to Luke like the next day, like, it didn't work, and you would go, I don't know, I read that it would work, and no one on the internet would lie.
But
Dude, I
But
remember,
that's
I remember this one YouTube video I watched that was like, it was like saying the same thing.
Oh my God.
And
Oh,
like,
and-
I tried
But,
to do
like,
it too, and it didn't work, and I got.
I can
like,
tell you-
upset.
I can tell you for a fact the reason why I bought Super Mario 64 DS is because you and let's just call her Blora were playing
Oh,
at
Five Nights
recess
at Freddy's
on a
vibes.
wall on the wall at recess, and you guys would
oh
just
my God,
would just play, and
the
I was
memories. Oh my God.
I was walking through EB Games as you do when you're 6 years old and you're looking for a
Yeah,
DS
You
game.
do that. Not gonna
You
lie.
do.
And I found
Yeah.
Super Mario 64 DS on the shelf, and I was like, shit, I know who plays that game. I'm gonna get it. And just
And then you
that
like walked over and went, hey,
conversation,
can I play with you guys? And then it was just, yeah.
around those conversations, around those games, really make kids want to buy games. And I think that's why it's okay. I can't remember the original point now, but it was something about, Drifloon catching at like 7 p.m. or something. All
Yeah,
these like
on a
rumors, all these rumors
Was
about
it really
like,
open on Tuesdays?
yes.
Yeah, only on
God.
Tuesdays. I remember that. Oh my God. Oh, I remember. I had this the strategy book, like the big book of Pokemon.
I
I had
that
the
for
whole thing of that for
Skyrim.
Platinum and like Pokemon Diamond. And I remember I would just sit there and look through all the Pokemon things and like how to catch it. And I remember seeing Drifloon 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I went, that can't be right. So then I went on a 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, and that was the only time I could catch it. And I went, well, shit.
Yeah, but like all those like
Didn't lie.
all those
Oh my God.
conversations like that kids have like on the playground when they can't, when I personally wasn't allowed to use the internet and we didn't have a lot of internet things in our household at that time, it like, dude, it
We
made
still
that
had
game the
VHS.
center. Yeah, we still had VHS.
We still have
Anyway,
VHS.
Yeah.
At the center of the like attention at school was that game we were playing. It wasn't about like football or something like that. It was that game. That's all we were talking about, because we thought Waluigi was there, or we thought
He
Drifloon
was
could
there.
never
I
be
swear
caught.
to God, he was there.
we're gonna like research this after. We're gonna just find Waluigi, and it actually worked. Anyway. Anyway.
We're shooting at the wrong side of the castle.
Yeah, or
It's
some
like a let's play that's like, oh, I accidentally unlocked Luigi. Whoopsies, and it's just.
Okay. Now I know this is very
Hang on,
sad.
Can I share one more thing really quick?
Yes.
Like about the rumors. I remember a huge rumor circling around the entire school that I think I'm gonna go with the Ballora name. I think Ballora said, if you said the name of the attack during Pokemon, you were more likely to get a critical hit.
Or rubbing
I
the
remember,
Pokeball.
Like me and her like hanging out at her house, and she was like, "Watch this," and she would click like an attack and go Razor Leaf into the microphone, and then it would be a critical hit, and I went, "Whoa!" So I thought that was real. So I was just sitting at my house going, "Tackle."
And you know
Tackle.
when you catch Pokemon? You know when
You
you like
mash
throw
A?
a Pokeball? No.
Yeah.
And you rub the Pokeball on the bottom screen? Did you ever do that?
Yes. Yes, I did that.
I found out recently that that doesn't actually do anything.
Wait, hold on. How how recently are we talking here?
I'm talking like a
Like
few
Luke
weeks
has
ago.
the Google page pulled up.
No, I'm talking like a few weeks ago.
That was the sadly thing he was
And
about
also,
to
you know,
transition
blowing
just
into
now.
blowing into your game cartridges and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
in the original Game Boy. Apparently, that actually damaged it.
Yeah, it did.
It
Yeah.
didn't actually fix it. I didn't know that until a few weeks ago either, and I was like, well, fuck, that's why my Shrek game is broken. But anyway.
Oh my god, I remember that Shrek game. I remember the second level. I could never get past it. And I got so mad.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like the huts.
Hang
on.
too off topic. One
more thing. I remember another rumor being. You remember when the Pokeball would like close shut, and then it would like flash for a second, or like when it would close, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a huge thing. It was like either you pressed start right when the Pokeball closed, or you mashed A while it was shaking. It would make you more likely to catch the Pokemon. I remember that being another thing. A lot of rumors just between me and Ballora, to be completely honest. It was just us feeding each other misinformation. Just like, oh, I heard if you do this it works. No way. Well, I heard if you do this it would work. And it was no, both wrong.
Okay, we
Shut
can't
up, you're
bash.
like 6.
We can't bash Ballora that much. Anyway, so
I mean,
this is our final
I was
topic.
6.
I haven't whom this Ballora is.
And you'll never know.
Okay, anyway.
Oh no, not
Yeah,
this.
but like the chances of Ballora watching this is gonna be like one in a like
Astronomical.
The chance of anyone watching this is abysmal.
Oh,
Oof.
no, come on.
It's true. It's honestly true.
Hey, I'm gonna watch this. I usually watch podcasts while I sleep, so
It's
great.
it's literally most of our friends.
Yeah,
That's the
I'm not
only-
gonna lie.
So you
gonna be great.
brainwash. So you brainwash.
It's not
us.
brainwashing. It's how you fall asleep with
Ben,
white
you're
noise.
gonna listen to this podcast. Everyone who's interested in Pokemon, we're just gonna bring in a huge Pokemon audience. Watch.
Okay, dude, you gotta monetize this
Because
now.
they'll read Blue Canoe Pokemon-related podcasts and go, "Gee, never heard of that before."
Okay. Anyway, final topic.
I'm a big fan
Pokemon
of this.
designs. So,
Oh God, we're going down this road.
do you
Oh.
remember?
I
No.
ranted to Kyle
I just
about
want to
this.
open up. I just want to open
no,
up.
I did. It was like a 10-minute rant to Kyle about this.
I just want to open up first of all. Remember those cloud creatures in Pokemon? I think it was Black.
Oh, I hated
Those
I hated
legendary
those-
Pokemons. And
Oh my God, the Nimbus people.
yes.
Yeah, they
There was like
looked
the Thunder
exact-
guy and the one with the rock tail, and I
And
hated
they-
it.
and they looked
And you could-
exactly the same.
You could
They
never.
were like-
There was no such thing as a super effective against it. It was always not very effective, or that doesn't affect this type. And I was like, what the fuck? It's a rock flying type. Fighting should be good against it. Just no. It's also a thunder
So-
type.
Oh, it's
What?
like the ninjask or like the
Oh
flying
my
beetle,
God.
where
Okay.
nothing would work against it.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to this. I want to go back to fucking Kafargus and that one ghost guy with the little shitty bronze mask who always would dodge your attacks or wouldn't get hit by them, or it was always non-effective. Do you remember that
No.
from Gen 5?
Was
The-
it ninja?
The little,
The
it
little
looked like
beetle.
the, was it a bit, hang on, I'm gonna Google a picture of,
Yeah. Put it in chat.
okay, no, this is not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of,
Okay.
oh, fuck, hang on, 1 second.
You do that. I'm just gonna say something real quick. Okay, so let's compare the Gen 1
Yamask.
starters.
Yeah, man. Oh. Oh
Here.
yeah, I know. What you're
This
talking-
thing,
okay, I know what you're
this
talking
thing, the one that always had all the type advantages and always made me not want to play the game.
Wait. Say the name again, just nice and loud.
Yamask.
about. It's the dude holding the map.
And he evolved into the coffin guy.
Whoa. Dude,
Welcome,
what
Liam.
Hi,
Okay,
Liam.
he's server muted. Okay. Okay.
Wait, why'd you serve him muted?
Okay. So, because I lost my Steam. Okay, so let's compare the Gen 1 starters to Pokemon Black 2.
Black 2, hang on,
Gen
I gotta
1.
switch up.
Gen 1 starters start off with Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur.
Yep.
Very, very original ideas. They all kind of looked like dinosaurs. I'm personally a Blastoise guy myself, so I picked Squirtle, even though the War Turtle design is absolutely fucking atrocious.
Well, I mean, That's the thing. In all of the Pokemon games, the middle evolution is the awkward teenager.
But what about-
Ivysaur was good.
But what
Charmeleon.
about? Yeah, Charmeleon looked badass. Like I
Charmeleon.
really like Charmeleon.
Charmeleon with his single head spike.
I thought he looked good, but anyway. And then we honestly, I thought where it started to dip off was Pokemon Pearl and Diamond, where we got Piplup, Chimchar, and Chimchar and Turtwig.
Don't hurt on my boy Turtwig.
Okay.
Number 3.
No, dude,
Pokemon.
Final
Turtwig is a
evolution of
god. You always pick Turtwig.
for
Oh, wait.
final
Are
evolution.
you
I
kidding
was
me?
more of a
Turtwig was
Piplup guy.
god tier.
I was
First
more of a
2
Piplup
badges
guy.
guaranteed in the bag.
I was more of a Piplup guy, but
you got
anyway.
the rock guy.
No, dude, I always got Turtwig.
Torterra's was a
Is it
badass
Torterra?
design. That was a Torterra. Sorry. He
It
was a
like one of my
badass
favorite-
design
It was
he-
like one of my favorite designs for that generation.
because
Yeah.
Like, by
it
far.
resembled the turtles with, you know how those legends from
Yeah.
natives, how like the world's on the back of a turtle. That's what it's in reference to, if you didn't know.
Wait, hang on.
But
What?
yeah, so
Wait,
it's
you didn't
supposed to
know?
be the Earth on his
Wait,
back.
no, they. Is this? Hang on.
Okay,
Hang
anyway, and then
Hang on, wait, no.
Chimchar.
Wait, they made. What? Hang on. Sorry, this is gonna sound super fucking dumb, but they made Mega Evolutions for the Sinnoh starters?
Yeah, they made a bunch of new Mega Evolution.
I think it was for Sun and Moon Ultra. But anyway, Mega Evolutions is actually, we can talk about Mega Evolutions. I think they're so stupid because
Yeah,
they
they're dumb.
advertise them so much, and then it's like,
they hype them up so much, and then just like, oh, you can only use one per fight, or it's like, oh, you can
well,
only.
they're pretty overpowered.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was more of an end game thing. It was supposed to be when they were introducing X and Y, but then by the third gym, they give you a Mega Evolution with a Lucario, which Lucario literally carried me through the game because it was literally one of the best Pokemon
No,
to
I
get.
was happy because they gave you Lucario to begin with, because like he was my favorite, like Pokemon, as like cliche as that sounds.
Yeah, they gave you 2 starters in that game. Those designs I did not like at all. Those Pokemon
liked
starter
Greninja.
designs. Greninja I didn't even like. The final
Really?
evolution of Chimchar, which Chimchar was my original starter I picked
Infernape?
in Sinnoh, or was it Sinnoh or Hoenn? I think it was Hoenn.
I
Anyway.
forget which one.
So anyway, they created the final evolution of Chimchar, which had a stupid blue arch over its eyebrows, which absolutely looked
Red.
no, it was blue.
Okay, I just googled it. The fucking Mega Torterra thing, not real. I thought it was, and I was gonna go, oh, this is the one thing I've been waiting for, but then they did.
Oh,
and
dude,
now
I
it's
did
sad.
that. I did that with Mega Luxray in X and Y when it came out. Because I saw like pictures of Mega Luxray, and I was like, oh shit.
And can we
Because
also
Luxio-
talk about the mess of Dioxys? About how it was
Deoxys.
literally banned from competitive play because he was too overpowered. Why would you make a character that was a literal god? Like, they have multiple Pokemons like that, and most legendaries are actually banned from competitive Pokemon.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's a-
Because they've
yeah,
got
there's a
broken
point.
abilities because they're end game characters.
I understand that, but like, I guess Dioxys was just such a stupid it's like it's like giving anything a broken ability in any game, like a competitive
like-
game. It's just
It's
dumb.
like it's the equivalent of giving a character in like a fighting game the ability to like
One
just
hit.
hit
Hadouken,
someone
like,
instantaneously,
yeah.
like just
Like-
as for
like-
fun.
Like no blocking, no dodging.
Yeah, like I punch you, no blocking, no dodging.
Okay, anyway. So the character designs of, like, the final evolution of Chimchar was absolutely fucking
So
terrible. I thought it looked
stupid.
like garbage.
Yeah. it
And the
was like a
final
little big
evolution of
monkey.
Piplup, I thought looked,
Actually, I think it
Yeah,
looks
I-
really cool.
and
it
probably
looked
all I
fine.
liked.
It looked fine. The only problem that I have is that it had a really small head and a really big body. And it looked
Yeah,
the
I didn't like
proportions.
how it had like its gut sticking out the whole time.
So you can see
Well-
kind of the evolution. It kind of like I think that those starters were like mediocre because Chimchar really brought them down in the end through the character design. But then it goes
Chimchar's
like
a pile of garbage.
It literally-
Everybody likes Chimchar for some reason.
Chimchar was like it's like, look, a monk on fire though.
and then the
It's
characters
it's
went from like
Charmander again.
the
It's
characters went
Charmander, but
from
not a cool lizard. He's just
the characters
Monkey.
mediocre.
the characters went from like okay. It's like
Let's use it.
they're
What
okay.
the hell kind of music is
And then-
this? God damn.
Black won, and I need to make like a dedicated server to this or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Black 1
Well,
and
like-
Black 2 starters, if you've actually ever looked at those, they look absolutely retarded. If you've ever seen them,
Oh yeah.
The
search them
Black
up.
One starters?
The black and white starters. That is that's Snivy, right? That's
Yeah,
Snivy,
oh, yeah,
Fire
Snivy.
Pig, and Oshawa.
I hate those starters. They look
It's
so
literally
stupid.
no, it's literally sea otter, weird snake thing,
And then
and then
Fire
it's like-
Pig.
pig.
Punch
and the-
Pig.
And
Cooked
the final evolution of the Fire
Alright,
Pig has
so-
fists.
Just fun little diversion, really quick. So I searched up a picture of Snivy as a reference, and I immediately found furry art porn.
Well, even though
Don't
it's a snake.
don't search
We're
up
not
Snivy.
we're not gonna talk about the furry porn, especially that bunny Pokemon that literally
Oh
looks
god,
like
Lopunny.
Okay,
Yeah.
The
no,
one that's
Okay, you
based
can't-
off of like a Playgirl.
you
yeah,
can't tell me that wasn't
and
built for that.
Gardevoir. Like
Oh yeah. That one's the weirdest one. She's wearing a dress.
and
like-
if you actually look at her player model, you know how the green thing comes down from her head?
Yeah.
Her mouth actually goes from her mouth is actually freaking huge, and it goes from like literally the side of her eye to the other side of her eye. If you actually look at her, the character,
Yeah.
the Pokemon breathing. So if you actually look at the character, it's quite demonic. But for some people,
Yeah.
people
It turns them on apparently.
lewd. Yeah, people lewd that Pokemon for some reason. I love that word. Anyway,
Lewd.
lewd. Just, oh fuck it. Okay. Any final thoughts? Final thoughts.
Oh, can I just say, you know, the alternate evolution for Gardevoir, like
Yes.
just the dude
Oh, where
with
she
blade?
gets. Yeah.
Like,
Gallade.
Gardevoir or something.
Dude, that was like the best. It was so cool.
Yeah, but he's got a weird diaper.
He
Like,
does
I
got a
know,
weird
like I know,
diaper.
like his butt looked really weird, but like,
I really
he was
like-
just like so cool looking.
Yeah.
I really liked
It's like so-
Roserade. That was one of my
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
Pokemons because
You-
you get Badoo at the start of the game, and you could literally catch them on the first route and then carry them throughout the entire game, which was
Yeah.
nice. And also Starly. That was the best bird Pokemon by far, in my opinion.
Oh
Because
yeah. It
evolved
got really
into
cool.
Staraptor. Damn. My favorite generation, maybe because this is like the first game that I actually owned, was
One of the-
Pokemon Pearl and Diamond. Those were my
yeah,
favorite games.
yeah.
One of the things I gotta say,
Four.
the call that Starly makes when you first encounter it is the most iconic thing I've ever heard because of how many times I reset my fucking Diamond and Pearl game. Because I was trying to get the shiny Turtwig from the beginning because there was like a slightly better chance of getting it if
Oh,
you started the
shiny
game off to
Pokemon.
get it.
Shiny Pokemon is so like the
Yeah.
whole idea, like okay, so for filling out your Pokedex in Pokemon X and Y, I think this is for any game. If you fill out your Pokedex totally, which I've never done, have you?
Yeah, that takes
No, I've
takes
never done it.
dedication.
I think I
No.
got an action replay and did a code to make it seem like I got it.
But you get a shiny charm, which increases your chance of getting shiny
Right.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so, Pokemon X and Y, I was done the game. I was done, like, I was doing a tournament with my friends, but other than that, I was like, and I really, really, really wanted a shiny Eevee because I wanted it to evolve into a shiny Umbreon or shiny Umbreon or, yeah, Umbreon. Because that was my
Yeah.
favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, because
It
it's got like
still
the
is.
cool blue lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I got one finally, but it was through trading with someone. But anyway, so I really wanted to fill out the Pokedex, so I literally had to go to every single route. And one of the best things about Pokemon Sun and Moon, and also I'm pretty sure X and Y did this as well, but correct me if I'm wrong, it told you what Pokemon you still needed to catch on the route.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think X and Y did that too.
Which was great. That was a great tool, and it really encouraged me to catch more Pokemon, which was... yeah, I'm glad that they finally used the bottom of the DS screen.
I don't.
Oh, do you remember the
I don't think I ever completed a Pokedex.
What was it? It was like the weird below screen. It was like it had the 2 buttons, and it was like it had the little like 8-bit graphic of your characters, and there was like one for each spot, and it had like the little bar underneath them for their health bars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you remember the fucking sheer terror you felt after you went through that one area and a Silcoon a Wurmple poisoned your Pokemon, and you were rushing to get back to a Pokemon Center,
and your
screen
was like shaking. Yeah.
So you just stand still because it activated based on how many steps you took. It was just, I don't want this.
As much as we shit on Nintendo, we didn't really shit on Pokemon as much as I thought we were gonna, but we shit on a lot about Nintendo. As much as we shit on them,
like their marketing practices.
Yeah, see, it's the exact same thing I just said. Like I said, like 15 minutes ago. Nintendo, worst marketing I've ever seen.
but
Best games.
yeah, perfect. That as much as we should, maybe it's just great Game Freak, but they make a lot. Like we were talking about Mario and stuff like that, and it's Nintendo.
Hang on.
Though.
Can I just say one thing for us to discuss?
Yeah.
N. What was it? Who was that? What was the whole point of it?
What N and what game?
All of them. I didn't understand what the point of him was, in all honesty.
What, like the mysterious notes or whatever?
No, N, the character.
Who's
the
N?
green-haired guy who like wandered around and was like, Pokemon deserve better than to be your plaything. And he caught Zekrom, and he was like, I didn't catch Zekrom, he chose to go in the Pokeball, or something like that. And it was like his dad was like a king, and it was like he was the king of Plasma. And it was like, N was like, I'm the rightful owner to be the king of Plasma, but I don't want to be. And then he had like a castle, and it was like upside down, and it was like a playground.
No.
You don't remember any of this?
No.
I didn't play Black and White, so...
Was it in Pokemon Black and White?
It was in Pokemon Black and White.
I didn't play it fully.
Search up Pokemon Black and White N.
I didn't play Black and White fully. I only played Black 2 and White 2. I think they were just trying to preach, from what I heard, they were just trying to preach PETA, because I remember there was a lot of underlying tones in Pokemon Black and White 2, that there was a lot of like animal or Pokemon equality and stuff like that, and about how people shouldn't own Pokemon. But like, yeah. Also, can I just say one thing? Okay, let's. This is gonna sound super dumb, but do you guys just want to spend like a couple minutes just saying, like, the outliers in all of the new generations with like the greatest designs?
Wait, I need to search up.
You know, in the new.
We're like reaching. I'm pretty sure like an hour and a half. So
wait,
wait.
Can I just like rant a bit about?
Yes.
Like,
Ben,
like
you haven't said anything. Go.
There's 2 Pokemon in I think in like X and Y. Like I just look in general real quick.
Oh,
like what is that?
Clef
what
key.
Is that?
Clef
It
key.
angered me so much when I saw
and
that
the
show on my
ice
screen.
cream
It's
cone.
like it's
Vanillite.
Yeah, the ice cream. It's like have you like the
and Vanillux.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to, like, what is that? Why
Hold
are they
on.
just making random objects?
Yeah. Okay.
No. I'm saying especially for the ice cream cone. Why does it get more delicious as you go along? That just makes you want to eat it more.
It's
if anything.
evolving so you'll kill it faster. It's a
Yeah.
creature based on depression.
Is this lost?
My question is, when it grows the second head, does the one just sprout the straw, or did someone put it there?
No. My question is, does the brain split in half, or is it just two brains now?
Is one, like, born?
No.
Is one like a
no,
malignant
two,
tumor?
No. So
Is it like the liver where if you cut off 25% of it, the other one just grows into a vanillite, or
No,
would it
so
grow
watch.
into a vanillite?
So you know how there's the two cones and there's one head with the eyes open and there's one head with the
Yeah.
eyes closed?
Yeah.
The eyes closed one, I'm just gonna say that one's a decoy. And then the eyes open, that's the one that's
the straw
actually...
lets you drink from that one while the other one escapes on the same body.
Exactly.
Smart.
So the attack actually misses because the Pokemon's going for the eyes closed one that's not actually alive. Bam. A natural selection at its finest.
Oh, also, this okay. One good design, Wobbuffet.
Really?
Yeah, because
No.
the way the description works is like the entire blue part is a decoy and the tail is the actual
The
Pokemon.
tail's the actual thing.
Yeah, Pokemon has a lot of the... Oh, what about creepy Pokemon entries like Hypnotos, who
Oh, yeah,
literally...
Hypnos.
Yeah, who literally steals children and, like, brainwashes them during their,
And, like,
dreams.
Drifloon.
Oh, my favorite,
Like, carries
What
children
about
away.
Drifloon, who literally pretends to be a balloon, and when a kid
carries
grabs onto
children
him,
away.
carries the kid away?
Okay, let's just talk about the majesty that is Alakazam really quick. Because the original entry was, there was a kid so smart, one day he woke up and he was an Alakazam.
Oh, wasn't that like the plot for the mystery dungeon? Like
Was
they
it?
just seen- I think
I
so.
never played Mystery Dungeons, were they
I-
good?
I only
Yeah,
played,
that was like. That was like the first Pokemon game I played.
Alright. Do you guys okay, here's a dumb little idea I have, mainly because I just want to talk about cool Pokemon designs. Say one Pokemon design you hate, and then say one you really like. Or
Does
like
it
a set of evolutions. Like it doesn't
Does it
matter
ma-
which generation at all. It's just one
I
you
really-
enjoy and one you despise.
I didn't. Hold on.
I really despise Chimchar's evolution, because it just gets
Oh.
shittier and shittier,
Hate it.
and then it just goes to the end and it's just the worst. My
Hold on.
favorite is Squirtle, because it starts off as this cute little thing, and then it has an awkward teenage phase, which I can relate with now, and then it turns into this badass tank, which is just fucking fabulous. Or Milk Tank. He is also a really good Pokemon. Just because, like,
Yeah.
the bullshit that was Milk Tank in Gen 1. Like, you can literally...
Okay. For the one I don't like, I'll say it's Cyndaquil, because it just looks so awkward.
But
I
it
think the one
evolves
thing-
into Shiftery. Wait, right?
Shit.
No,
No,
Cyndaquil?
you're talking about Pseudo Wudo, my
Oh,
friend.
yeah.
You're talking
Shiftery
about
was
Cyndaquil.
badass.
Cyndaquil, I couldn't tell what it was for the longest
Hang on,
time.
I gotta. Oh no, you're thinking of C-Dot in Nuzleaf.
Yeah, and then it turns into Shiftery, and Shiftery can
Yeah,
learn Hyper
He's talking
Beam.
about Cyndaquil, which was the
yeah,
one that
Cyndaquil.
that turned into Typhlosion at the end. The Gen
Typhlosion.
2 fire guy.
Oh, yeah, Cyndaquil, yeah, that was a retarded design.
I could never
Totodile
tell.
was where what was at.
I could never
Hmm.
tell what it was.
All right.
Yeah, for that gen, if you didn't pick
Okay.
Totodile,
Okay.
You go,
Time for
Cam.
me to pick the most obscure Pokemon to hate. Ampharos.
You gotta give us a
was that
picture.
the one that one that went from a sheep to a really weird thing?
It's the weird lumpy yellow
Oh,
dinosaur.
and then it turns into a giraffe.
Yeah. No,
I
that's the
love that
final Pokemon,
Pokemon.
and it's like the two sheeps turn into this.
Oh,
So
dude.
two sheeps turn into like a
Dude,
dinosaur
I
that turns into a
love
giraffe.
This one, I love this
No,
one.
no,
so
this
Oh,
is the
Marmee.
final evolution
Dude, I loved Mari.
where it was like Mareep turned into Flaffy, and then it was this.
Oh,
Dude, I love
oh, the
Mario.
final evolution was the
So
dinosaur
fun.
thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very confusing. Okay, so if you don't know
I
what
think
Pokemon
what
we're
you're
talking
thinking about is you're thinking of Girafarig.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was only one evolution. I don't think.
Yeah,
they
it's
had-
the singular one.
It didn't evolve, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're thinking of the giraffe with the little chain chomp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which looks
No,
like
dude.
Mawile. Which Mawile
Yeah.
is a very nice Pokemon, and it is also looted a lot with the giant
Yeah.
teeth on the back of its hair, which is
Right.
just
Which
imagine. No.
upset me.
Everybody, close your eyes. Give a moment of silence. Imagine looting a thing with a
No, thank you. Done.
giant chomper,
Done.
and then
No.
it's a little tiny thing. Just
No,
imagine
thank you.
that. Okay. Anyway.
All right. Now
I
for
think-
one of my favorite Pokemon designs. The Hydreigon evolution chain. Honestly,
The
one of my
three-headed
favorite ones
dragon
from
thing?
yeah, I loved that one
Oh,
from,
yeah.
from Gen 5. Which gen was that? Gen 5.
I'm pretty sure that was Gen 4 because the Elite
Gen-
4 had it.
Was that Gen 4? No, I swear it's like
I really
Gen
like
5
the
because
dragon
it's like
Pokemon though. They looked badass.
because when I was younger, not gonna lie, I had the dumb haircut like the first evolution, like Dino. And my favorite thing is the name scheme for it. A lot of the Pokemon I like are things I like because of the name scheme. Like how Dino, Zweilous, and Hydreigon, they're based on the amount of heads they are in German. Like it's the
That's
most
nice.
obscure thing. Like Dino has ein, which is 1. Then Zweilous has zwei, which is 2. Then Hydreigon has drei, which is 3. And I think that's just
That's-
great.
That's clever. Okay,
And then-
so
I also
Okay,
love
hang on.
Okay, hang on. I just want to gush about Turtwig for a second. Best
He's my
Pokemon,
favorite
best
starter.
evolution,
favorite
best-
starter.
best. Turtwig, Turtle, Twig, Grotle, I think it's Grove and Turtle again. And then it's Torterra is Tortoise and Terra, which is great. Great
Hmm.
names. Great name scheme. Love it.
Okay, can I?
Okay, I think
Can
we're
I
about
just
to
say-
wrap this
can I
up.
just
Here's
say-
the last word. I gotta upload this. Like this is gonna take forever. Go, Ben.
Don't delete it.
Okay. When I played Mystery Dungeon as a kid, 2 things. I would always they would make you do a questionnaire at the beginning to pick what Pokemon you did, and I swear to God, I would always redo it until I got Turtwig.
Smart.
I think I would consistently do it like 5 times.
I
and
always
then
got
just, like, bend the
Pikachu.
answers until I got Turtwig, and also. I think when I was a kid, Grovyle was by far my favorite Pokemon. Like just
Oh, Grovyle. He was
Yeah.
cool.
he was super cool.
Sceptile? Ooh.
Yeah, cause like he was like integral, like super like part of the plot to that game.
Yeah.
I
And,
was
like, I
more
just-
of a Mudkip guy myself because he evolved into Do You Even Lift?
Oh my god, Swampert.
Did you see the mega evolution for Swampert? Holy
Yeah, he
shit.
just gets even more beefy.
He's just-
So
it's like-
jacked.
He's like they call me Bulk.
They turned him into an absolute unit.
What was the
Literally.
fire Pokemon for that gen?
Blaziken, Thunder
Oh
Chicken.
right. Yeah.
It wasn't even thunder, it was fire. It's a fire chicken.
Yeah, he turned into like
KFC.
Yeah, he turned into KFC. All right.
Yeah, that whole line is KFC.
Well, thank
Hang on.
you for here thing.
Thank you for here thing.
Thank
Yep.
you for
Bye.
exist.
Bye
Hang on,
bye.
can this be the outro for every single episode? Thank you for this. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.